As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. But this story it's not so much the story, but what sort of comes from the story, the discussion that we I think can extract from this story, which is the headline here is Yield Guild Games raises $4 million for the play to earn era of games. Okay. And it's talking about a game developer called Yield Guild Games. I hate the name. It's actually a really awful name. They raised $4 million in funding. Of course, who would they raise it from? None other than the sugar daddy of the esports industry, Bitcraft. And fundamentally what they do is they make games that their whole belief is people should be able to earn a living from video games. And so that people who play their games should be able to earn real money from them. And fundamentally, their first game here, which they talk about, Axie Infinity, if you play, you earn some in-game currency called SLP, I think. And you can trade that for crypto, which can then be traded for real dollars. Does anyone think play to earn as a business model for games is something that's here to stay? We're going to see entire games built around this? Or do we think this is flash in the pan because crypto is hot and anything that sort of talks about this? Like, where do you guys put play to earn on the spectrum?
Can I start? I hate this. I hate this so much. This is some serious dystopian, messed up, crap. Like this video games are supposed to be fun, right? Like this is like some serious dystopian. Hey, like let's go every day to work, and rather than like work in Excel and like have a job, we'll just mine for Bitcoin, like in our within our virtual world. Like this is no, I hate this so much. Like this
just
is
described
so bad.
I love Chris's framing of it. Child labor ambulance chasers incoming.
Thank you. I mean, I agree. I don't know. I mean, now let me caveat that, because I always like to play devil's advocate. So sometimes I'll even play devil's advocate on myself. If we are to get a world where we enter a metaverse world, in theory, people have to make money. Right. So maybe there will be some sort of in-game labor economy, but that world sucks. I don't want to live in that world. I think that I don't like this story. And I think games are supposed to be about fun. And if you're going into the game to labor and to make money, that is not fun. That is a job. Unless this pays really well, get yourself a real job and then play video games for fun. Like I don't see the point of this.
I just want to clarify. I don't disagree with you, Jeff, but I just want to clarify. I was correct. So players earn an in-game token called Smooth Love Potion, also called SLP, by winning battles against other players. And SLP is required in-game to breed new Axies, I guess, or characters. Or it can be sold on an open marketplace and traded for other cryptocurrencies.
So when I was running a clan and had the time to play video games a lot, and whenever I was consulting for developers and other companies, whenever I would show their product to other kids, the number one question they would ask is, how do I make money using this product? How do I make money using this app? How do I expand my brand? How do I grow my gaming audience? But always, 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 how do I make money using this or doing this? So, I mean, Jeff describing this world with like these like children's sweatshops, mining and video games. That sounds awesome to me, and it sounds like what these kids want. I'm the exact opposite. I think it's incredibly entertaining. I think all these kids are hustlers. Like, you don't know how hard Gen Z works. This is a how to do it yourself YouTube, so, current generation that learns to do things, and they're not going door to door mowing lawns. They're posting on Fiverr. They're trying to get in the door anyway and just earn a buck. So if they're going to do that gaming, then I would have done that, right? If I was that age. So I'm all for it.
Pathfinder says, agreed, the name is awful. It's like World of Warcraft gold mining or the auction house. I was going to say that's, this is not that different, right? Like you farm gold in WoW and then sell it for real dollars. I guess, so William, where are you on this? Is play to earn, will that be in your next book, right?
So,
that's kind of the question.
So I'd like to point out that this joins a massive trend in industries. As anybody know, you can earn a ton of money reading books. There's a pay to read industry. You can earn a lot drinking. There's a pay to drink industry. People just pay you to drink alcohol. There's a pay to watch football industry. It's, guys, like, the reality is I'm sorry, but this is like, unless we end up in some, how to describe it, like literally, unless this is the end of Wall-E, the movie, right? Sorry, spoilers. Like, there's just the monetization per unit time from gaming, just, it's not there. Your value is created to sponsors, advertisers, and eyeballs. Like, that's it. So you can spin it however you want in terms of how the value is delivered to the consumer, but fundamentally, you're playing the game doesn't really create real value, right? Like, as an ad, like, your attention is not super monetizable just on a pan consumer basis. Like, it is true that you can be generating economic activity in these games in a different way. The example I'd point to is World of Warcraft, right? We all know that World of Warcraft is different because you could actually earn money from World of Warcraft, not just by selling ads on your screen, which actually didn't happen for a while, but better than this example, but the gold, the items, there was a market for that. People wanted those digital assets. And I have often thought that games could do more around monetizing the digital asset pieces that they create. But the problem there is the fundamental thing you require is an absolutely smash hit AAA game, right? I think that that's hard enough to do today without burdening it with this external monetization model. See the Diablo 3 auction house, right? Like, big publishers don't know how to do this. So the conversation I'd be interested in having is not, hey, we're going to make games and monetize, because guess what? No one's going to want to play these games. They're built to, like, they're built to be monetized. The interesting thing is, can majorly successful games reverse into some sort of open itemization model? And is it better done on a free traded public basis versus a publisher driven basis? And I'd argue WoW is still the best example of this today. Like, you can buy boosts to get your character to max level, right? Which is equivalent to, the industry that I think used to be around, where you would basically like pay people to play your character to level them up, right? So, like, there's something going on here of interest, but I don't think it's addressed in the solution that's being described here, at least from the press release.
Agreed, William. But do you think there's a world, like, in some ways the whole NFT thing has created maybe it's a long-term, but definitely a short-term opportunity where you can get people doing something like playing your game, right? Mm-hmm. With the promise of earning, let's say, an NFT, which has perceived value, but may have zero cost.
Yep.
Right. And so in some ways you're earning, but like what you're earning may at some point have zero value, may have a ton of value. Who knows? And I kind of like Greg's comment here, which is I could have been paid to read the book of esports. Right. And I would argue similar comment of you could be paid to watch the business of esports. Right. Could we come up with some scheme where if you watch the podcast or you listen to the podcast or you watch the live stream, you earn a Business of Esports NFT or something, or like, you know what I mean? Where now you're paying people something that has, Jeff, I muted.
Like, muted me? What the hell?
Yeah, because there was an echo.
Fine.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think we've talked about this a bunch of times. Like, I'm definitely pretty bullish. I think we've all been pretty bullish about NFT in games and, having items transferable. And, I think we always go back to like the golden sword, that you earn and has value. But I think the difference is a lot of these stories that I see and a lot of these games companies that are trying to raise money is that they're putting the cart before the horse. It's like, hey guys, I've got this great idea. We're going to create NFTs in games. And it's like, cool. Okay, what's the game? Oh, I don't know yet. It's just going to be NFT in games. Okay, well, is the game fun? Is the game going to exist in 6 months? Are there going to be any players? Because, I could spend 12 hours getting a $10,000 NFT sword, but if in 3 months there's nobody in the server and the game doesn't exist, I guarantee you that NFT sword is going to be worth literally $0. While if World of Warcraft did this, or a game that actually has longevity and staying power, implemented these kinds of NFT principles and sort of created an economy around that, I would be bullish on that. But just creating an NFT for the sake of creating an NFT and then wrapping a game around it, it's effectively like creating a social casino. Yeah, you're creating a mobile game, but at the end of the day, it's just a casino, and you've wrapped a pretty bells and whistles and created a mobile game around it, but it's literally just a loot box and a casino. It's a slot machine.
But don't you agree that for a game developer right now, the NFT may be the perfect hook, because you can give something away that has perceived value but has zero cost or close to zero cost?
Sure, but how is that different than them selling microtransactions? Just like theoretically, it's more of a Ponzi scheme and that it could be worth something. Like It's no different. Like this model has been around forever. It's like, hey, buy this loot box where you have the potential to win a golden sword that's worth nothing, or buy the golden sword that is worth $10,000, but it's actually not worth anything. I don't know. To me, it's two sides of the same coin.
The more interesting question is the economic question here, which is the greater revenue deriver for the publishers? Is it the publisher directly selling to the market themselves, right? Which is sort of how we've solved it today, right? Like that's sort of like, is it the publisher selling direct themselves? In which case, this market won't ever exist because it's better for the publishers. Or is it truly a player-driven economy like we saw in WoW, right? Where the publisher concedes some control because the overall activity and play in the game itself. And the really interesting thing to me, and this is a little bit sad, but like we lost subscription as a revenue model for games, right? Like we lost, like subscription really doesn't exist. I mean, it sort of does with like battle passes now and stuff, but like, it's like we sort of lost what WoW was doing with it. Subscription was really interesting from the perspective of it was one of the purest aligning factors for the publisher to say, as long as this game is fun to play month to month, we both win, right? Like subscription is a very good model for aligning player and publisher incentives.
It's a good point. I don't know why that went away, because WoW was such a success, but maybe that's just WoW.
Because you make more on micro. I mean, I know why it went away. Micro is probably the benefit, because the benefit is micro is the subscription that you don't see and you overspend on. Yeah. But
I mean, the perfect
micro
model,
also skews incentives a little bit, unlike subscription.
To answer your question, the perfect model is the Roblox model, where you don't sell anything, you don't create anything, you just take a take rate on the currency in the game. That's
platform. Every VC's favorite word. So platform.
There's a reason why user-generated content, platform, and Roblox, those three words together are worth 40 billion when Take-Two's worth 15. It's a great model. So,
Chris sort of, I think, again, found the right words for this other company. Pyramid Scheme, the video game by Activision. I can't wait to play that. I missed though, Chris, I
can't wait for Pyramid Scheme remastered.
Yeah.